Of the 5 guarantees given by the newly minted government in Karnataka, one of the flagships is the Anna Bhagya scheme, under which the government promises to grant 10 kgs of grain or rice per month to every member of all BPL families in the state. But the Karnataka government is facing an uphill task in implementing the Anna Bhagya scheme, which is to launch from the 1st of July. The reason? Owing to the unavailability of the required amount of rice after the Food Corporation of India or FCI stopped the sale of rice to the state government. Now there is a monthly requirement of 2.28 lakh metric tons for the scheme, and so far Karnataka has only managed 1.5 lakh metric tons. Remember, the deadline is 1st of July, like 11 days from now. After the Food Corporation of India refused to provide 2.28 lakh tons required to launch the scheme, after initially agreeing to supply the same, the state has been scouting for rice in other states. While Telangana and Andhra Pradesh expressed their inability to supply, Chhattisgarh government expressed willingness to supply 1.5 lakh tons. Karnataka is looking to purchase rice at 34 rupees a kg, along with a transport cost of 2.6 per kg, which is actually the cost that it would incur if it had bought rice from Food Corporation of India. Well, as of now, Punjab has stepped in to help Karnataka out to mitigate the problems faced by the poor, as quoted by the Aam Aadmi Party, which is the ruling dispensation in Punjab. We are asking you, is the war over rice mired purely in politics, or is it more about policies? First up, Brijesh, more about politics, anti-poor. It's about, Anna Bhagya is a flagship scheme. The rice is going to go to BPL families and those who have Antodaya cards. Or is it purely about policies? There is complete lack of communication.
Well, I think, it's more about politics, Sudha, because these schemes and all are ever since, the Congress government has come to power in the state of Karnataka, they've been pretty aggressive about certain things. And, usually you see Congress being diffident on A or B or C schemes, not taking on Hindutva, fearing that it may have a backlash in the northern India and all. This time they're taking the BJP pretty aggressively. And I think this particular scheme or the spat with the FCI or the way the Congress is going about it, the Congress wants to make an example out of this particular issue where they say that how they want to supply rice to the poor. They want to attend to the poor who are hungry, that they need to be fed. And Centre is somehow putting a spanner in their effort to distribute rice to the poor. So the entire FCI imbroglio is something which the Congress would want to use it to their maximum advantage. And I think it will help the Congress politics more if the more constraint they are able to convey to the people that it's the Centre which is putting a spanner to their scheme. Otherwise, other than that, as the Congress's narration for quite some time has been that the BJP only looks after their rich industrial friends and not the poor people. Yes. So this is one narrative which they can very easily get in as far as this rice distribution scheme is concerned. Interestingly, Punjab has stepped in.
Yes.
Telangana has also said that they will. So very soon, it will turn out to be BJP versus rest of the opposition states and all. And I think this will definitely suit to the Congress narrative which they want to build as a BJP versus rest, as well as, showcasing the opposition unity when it comes to time like this.
Right. But, Brijesh, before I go to the other guests, one thing, this picture really, we see pictures every day, but this picture of all the women sitting in a bus in Karnataka and smiling away, apparently more and more women are traveling. The temples are full because now, the free ride that they are getting. So there seems to be a happy constituency. I don't have to pay, because for them, that paying that much money also to and fro is a very, very, a difficult task, unlike others. So I guess this pro-poor, what you say, Congress, I think, will use it to their advantage. Because, as you know, that's why it's called Anna Bhagya, that word itself, that it is something which will come to you because it's part of your fate or something that you deserve. So, you think this will become a major narrative when they hit 2024?
Absolutely. So, 2019, 2014, 2019, one of the key narrative which was completely instrumental in changing BJP's political fortune was the central schemes which they have launched. You know, be it the gas or be it various schemes under which
The Ujjwala
Ujjwala and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Those schemes were a runaway success. You know, opposition parties kept on debating about the pricing issue, how, you know, when you get the cylinder refilled, it may charge you more. But the opposition parties were not able to convince the people the way the BJP convinced the people, and they were literally you know, instrumental in increasing the number of vote share as well as a number of seats for the BJP. The opposition is doing the same, and you know, it was a success in Himachal when they said that you know, ORS will be reservation. Sorry, the old pension scheme will be restored, and the same is with the state of Karnataka. See, both sides, the government as well as the opposition, you know, they say that the government says that, you know, all this revdi culture will be ruinous to the economy and all. I think, you know, all political parties are somehow one way or another involved in this revdi culture. So this particular charge doesn't get stake. Opposition has tasted blood, this is for sure, and there is no way they are going to let go of this narrative, you know, because nobody wants to part with a winning narrative.
B.S. Arun, you know, Brijesh and I were discussing about, I mean, whether it's pure politics or whether it's also a kind of a breakdown of policy somewhere. You know, one has been trying to read between lines. The letter that Siddaramaiah wrote, if we can have that letter on screen, he, you know, when C.T. Ravi asked him, did you even write a letter? He said, of course we wrote a letter. Here is the letter. We have a copy of that letter on your screens right now. And, you know, also the thing is that Food Corporation of India, the chairperson, saying that, you know, this is absolutely unfair. What they are saying, they said, we've stopped the sale of rice and wheat from the central pool because we want to control retail inflation in food grains. B.S. Arun, how do you look at it?
Well, as far as politics is concerned, we have to say that because of the chronology, you know, on 12th, FCI had agreed to give the rice. On 13th, the Chief Minister writes a letter. On 14th, the FCI says it can't give because the policy has changed. So going by these dates, you know, one after the other, we have to assume that, you know, there is politics involved in this, because the Karnataka government had already announced that it will give you know, 10 kg rice to every deserving family of the underprivileged people. So obviously, it was going to take you know, advantage of that, and it was one of the election promises which was successfully implemented. You know, in the 2013 to 2018 government of Siddaramaiah. Of course, the government failed. The party lost the election. Right. That's a different matter. But then the success that was derived after that, you know, 5-year tenure, Siddaramaiah wanted to, you know, continue that in this term, and that was one of the, you know, as you pointed out, one of the 5 major planks that the guarantees that the party gave. Now, obviously because of the you know, these 3 dates which are important, and going by that, it looks as though, or we have to assume also that you know, the center is not keen to help Karnataka out in this you know, on this issue. So that is one reason, and you know, the Congress here in Karnataka is going ahead quite fast in implementing all these 5 guarantees. It has already done 1, which you referred to, and the other 4 are in the pipeline. This rice scheme is to be implemented from July 1st. We don't know whether it will be done because of the different issues involved. Because as you mentioned, Punjab has now agreed. Yes. Telangana had not agreed. Telangana refused to give because it has its own problems. And
Andhra too has said no, right?
Yeah. And in these 2 places, in these 2 states, Congress also is one of the important, the key player in the state elections, which is going to come this year and next year.
Right.
So having said that, now there are other issues involved, like, you know, the transportation of rice, say from Punjab to Karnataka, which is a, you know, fairly long distance. So, and the cost that is involved. So all these issues, government have to weigh in and say when it will start implementing this
right.
scheme. I think that's going to be an issue here.
That's going to be a challenge. Madhu and Rao, you know, the thing is that you can protest as much, you know, as the opposition, and it's your right to do that, to, you know, hit the streets and say that so many, whatever promises the government has made has not been fulfilled. How are you going to face your fellow brethren, the Kannadigas in Karnataka? Because 1st July is just 11 days away, and the way the slugfest, the rice war is panning out in the state, it seems that it is going to cost you majorly.
Well, good afternoon. I, for a moment, was listening to all the discussions, what was going on.
All right.
But the first thing which comes to the mind is only so much. First of all, let us understand that under the public distribution scheme, the rice 5 kg has been given by the central government to all the citizens of this country, at least 80 crore, who are qualifying to be receiving it.
Hmm.
Having said so, when the Congress government, Congress rather to say, before elections, when they announced that they will be giving 10 kgs of rice, I think we should keep in mind that they never told from where they will be sourcing it, nor they had any idea about it at all. Now, having said so, they camouflaged saying that they'll be giving 10 kg, and they told 5 kgs we'll be receiving it. Then after the government, they told 5 kg we are receiving it from the state government, central government, another 5 kgs. My point is, I think the Congress party somewhere needs to understand the 5 kgs, whatever is coming, is from the central pool, and the 10 kgs which they have offered to give must be in separate to that of what 5 kgs is already given. Point one. Now, point two. Let's understand one thing. This the Congress party did not perhaps ask the FCI that please stock some rice so that we will be procuring it from you to give it to the Karnataka people. Was it the scenario? And now of all you're asking the central, asking saying that you please give us a 2 odd metric ton which is required for our scheme. I mean, for a moment, let's understand the economics of it. I can
I'll
understand
come
the
to you.
politics.
No, Mr. Rao, I need to also introduce Nizam Faujdar, sir. I will come to you, but all I'm saying is, when I said, was there a breakdown of communication? This is what I'm going to ask you next time. You cannot possibly say yes to me. It's not about one individual to another. It's about giving rice to lakhs of people in Karnataka. FCI apparently said yes first, and then it went back and said we can't right now. I just, Nizam, want you to respond to what Mr. Rao said. They said that they never told us. Also, the FCI is saying now there are elections after elections. Telangana will go to elections, Rajasthan will go to elections, Chhattisgarh will go to elections. They said if everyone makes this promise, I mean, they have to first check with us whether we have it. So far as I know, my knowledge can be limited. Apparently, they are sitting on surplus grains.
So the irony of the day is that, BJP expects everybody to understand. They don't want to understand the need of a poor. Right? He 3 times he said, we need to understand, you need to understand, everybody needs to understand. The question is, are you with the poor or not? Let them give us in writing, saying that we cannot give you 5 kilos or 10 kilos from the central pool. We will make our arrangements. We will make it from the other states, or we'll possibly bring it from the other countries. But we will give 10 kilos of rice. But before that, the Prime Minister Modi, the BJP government in the center, needs to tell us that they will not be able to give us from the central pool. Just because before the election, we had to take a word from these people that when we come into government, we will ask you for those 10 kilos of rice from the exchequers of Karnataka government. It's not they're giving us free. We are going to pay for it, right? We will pay for it. So when we are paying, what is the pain that the BJP has today? Is it that they are frustrated? Is it that they're afraid that they will lose one election after the other election? Or they're simply anti-poor? क्या ये लोगों को इतना नहीं उनके दिल में बैठता है कि गरीब 2 वक्त की रोटी मांगता है, 2 वक्त के निवाले खाना चाहता है? Are these people are not ready for it? Are they people, when they are able to write off about 12 lakh crore rupees to their crony friends, they can't give rights to us that we are paying for? The BJP has to answer. They are asking, we had to ask them before the election, after the election, this and that. It's a government procedure. We have written a letter. Why don't you give us this rights? If you can't give it us in writing, we will take it up to the court, or we will go to other markets.
No, they have, Nizam, there have been enough public declarations by senior officials of the FCI